this way to my grave. So I will never forget where I came. I will fight again, and always will guard their lives.
I started off by returning to Godric's boss room and walking through the last bit of Stormvale Castle, gathering a Shabriri Grape and entering Liurnia of the Lakes. The first person I met was Hayeda, a kind of familiar girl.
Would you donate any Shabriri grapes in your possession to me?
Well, she wanted the grape, so I gave it to her.
Now I can feel the distant light once more.
And after resting at the Grace, I met Bok a second time. He offered to be my personal seamster and I agreed, even though I will most probably never alternate any armor. Afterwards I went to the church nearby, grabbed the sacred tear and met Tops, a student from Raya Lucaria, who told me his story on how he got banished from the magic school.
On sorceries at the Academy of Raya Lucaria.
From there I went downhill, entering the lake itself, meeting back with Patches on the scenic isle.
It's me, Patches the Untethered.
He told me about a girl called Raya.
She's a strange one, but I believe she was in need of help.
And a mystery that is said to be beneath the academy.
In the Academy of Raya Lucaria, its transpositional powers fully intact.
So I made sure to meet up with the girl Patches mentioned and traveled east. She told me a thug not far from her had stolen her necklace.
That thug made off with a precious necklace. I need someone to retrieve it.
On my way to him, a deathbird surprised me and killed me. I rescued my runes and went to the shack, where the Black God was hiding.
Trying to start something, mate?
I bought the necklace off him and quickly gave it to Raya. She gave me an invitation to Volcano Manor for helping her and told me to meet her again after making my way through a cliff to
Altus Plateau.
On my way to my next destination, I was sniped by these lobsters and found Dialos, who had finally found his servant.
It's me, Dialos. Answer me, would you?
I made my way to the entrance of the academy, but only found a map with marked spot on it. Following the note Vara left last video, I made my way to Church Rose, where I had another conversation with this totally lovely, trustworthy man.
Their guidance skewed. Even worse, the fingers harbor no love for our kind. That's the part that irks the most.
In the church itself was a sanguine noble who was taken care of fairly quickly. I found the village of Albinaurics in a cave-like area to the west of the lake. Kneeling near some corpses, I encountered Nepheli once again, complaining about the dead villagers.
I witnessed a sight much the same in my infancy. The oppression of the weak. Murder and pillage unchecked.
Hidden in a vase was Albus, an Albinauric who gave me one half of the secret Erdtree medallion. His last will was for me to find a girl named Latenna, so she could fulfill her purpose.
It is needed to fulfill her purpose.
Lastly, I fought the Omen Killer close by with Nepheli's help, and I gotta say this kinda reminds me of another fight. But at least we have some space this time. Returning to the Round Table Hold, I was ambushed by Ansha. I wanted to consult Gideon about it, and he actually apologized.
Ansha got rather ahead of himself, it seems. As his master, I'd like to express my regret.
He even could tell me something about Latenna's whereabouts, and was sure she would know or have the second half of the medallion.
She knows the location of the medallion's counterpart, I'm sure.
Dialos had some news as well.
Now, after what they did, I can scarcely believe it myself. Did they think me a fool? You might be surprised to learn I took them up on the offer.
And I was able to find Nepheli near Hugh, but she had something on her mind.
I need to think.
I confronted Gideon and he told me that he had abandoned her as he had no use for her.
It seemed the whelp harbored suspicions, so I had no further use for her.
And when asking Nepheli about it, she told me the truth.
Can no longer trust him, father. To think he'd order his men to enact such tragedy. Where is the justice he purports in that? He once told me that if he became Elden Lord, he would never allow the downtrodden to be cheated ever again. Was he simply lying to me?
I traveled back to Crystal Cave to find Latenna. At the end of the cave was a bloodhound, and there were some close calls. At the exit of the cave was a shack, and there was Latenna. She was defensive at first, but after showing her the medallion, she trusted me and told me about the second medallion's location.
Beyond the Forbidden Lands, north of the Erdtree, in Castle Sol, on the mountaintops of the Giants.
I traveled further on the west side of Liurnia and found Edgar at the Revenger's shack, but as he ran mad, I had to take him out. On my way north, I came across the 4 Belfries and was able to teleport back to the beginning of the game. I beat the Scion and grabbed the Stormhawk King summoning ash. Afterwards, I continued traveling north and finally found E.G., the smith Blythe had told me about.
A blacksmith who once served the Carian royals.
I quickly grabbed the craze in front of Carian Manor and made my way to Bellum Church and the Grand Lift of Dectus. East to it was a tower that caused madness on everything close by, explaining the Madness Village. But before continuing that route, I went back in the lake, defeating the Glintstone Dragon and obtaining the Glintstone Key that would allow me to enter Raya Lucaria, and so I did. I invaded the world to help Yura on yet another hunt. Then I went back to the Madness Tower and found the Black Knife Catacombs Fia had marked on my map. So I made my way through to find the Black Knifeprint. I faced off with a Black Knife Assassin, and this fight was rather tough as well, showing me that leveling into Vigor may be a good idea. I ventured south to find the Church of Vows and Pope Turtle, before returning to the Round Table Hold and bringing the knife print to Rogia.
What do you need?
This is a black knife print.
My examination is complete. Here's the knife print back, with my thanks. Now I have a fairly good idea who performed the rite upon the blade. The person who orchestrated the Night of the Black Knives. Lunar Princess Rani.
After he told me that, I chatted with Theo for a bit before selling my stuff to Hugh, to make yet another level up on endurance, as I found out that I have to have a light loadout for the movement mod to work properly. I rushed through the Carian Manor and dealt with Loretta before meeting Rani,
Again we cross paths.
and asking her about the knife print.
I see. Quite the sleuth, aren't we? Indeed, I am the witch Rani. I stole a fragment of the Rune of Death and used it to forge the god-slaying black knives through fearsome rite. I did it all. But sadly for thee, the curse mark thou seekest is not to be found here. I have slain the body I was born into and cast it away, and it is upon that flesh the curse mark is carved. And why should I reveal that to thee? I performed the act not to bury the past, nor in shame of the deed, but all the same, thy begging compels me not a jot. The curse mark thou seekest is not here. That is all I will say. Now, be gone.
So I went back to Rogia, who told me to join Rani's forces to find out more. I introduced myself to Rani's disciples and paid Celavus and Pedia a visit. I went back to Round Table Hold, told Rogier the news, and next thing on my list was his death. Afterwards I took care of Hayeda, giving her another Shabriri grave near a rune and a bridge, where I finally told her the truth about the grapes being ice.
That's not possible. Not all of those people. So those noises I heard were... Sorry. I'm alright now. Don't mind me.
At the Church of Inhibition, I killed Vike, who kindly dropped a fingerprint grape that I gave to Hayeda at Bellum Church.
Oh, a fingerprint grape. Tried and true. What a wondrous thing. A fingerprint grape. Oh, how sweet. Yet, how it burns. Thank you. I've composed myself again. May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
I returned to Limgrave to enter Siofra River, as Rani gave me the job to find the Eternal City together with Blythe. I activated all fires and had a chat with Blythe,
But I don't have much to report.
before fighting the Ancestor Spirit, who is very easy but one of my favorite bosses in the game because of his looks, the way you unlock him and his feet. I returned to Celivus as Blythe asked me to, and he told me to go see Selen.
The matter some time ago. I'll write you a letter of introduction. Go ask her.
She was able to tell me something about Noxtella, so I returned to Blythe and told him the news.
We're being held at the castle on the southern edge of the Caelid Wilds, east of Limgrave. It's a festival of combat. And I heard that you can fight Radahn himself.
After that, I finally ventured through the academy, defeating Radagon's Red Wolf, and found the second Glintstone key for Toffs. After giving Toffs the key, I faced off with the second Shardbearer. Renala, Queen of the Full Moon.
Hush, little Calva. I'll soon birth thee anew, a sweeting, fresh and pure.
And as usual, she was no problem at all. Then I let Fia hold me again. She requested me to give a dagger to its original owner. Dee told me that he knew the owner, so I handed it over to him. I reloaded the area and found Fia kneeling next to Dee's corpse.
It is returned to its rightful place, the stolen handmaid of the exalted noble. And now, I must bid you goodbye as well.
Lastly, I talked to Milena
Bok. He is always eager to see your return. Please, will you talk to him when you can?
and spoke with Bok again.
Your service, master.
That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below. Hopefully I see you in the next one, dear Tarnished.